in Mubende and Kasanda districts have been extended for more 21 days. This was contained in President Yoweri Museveni's address to the nation on the current status of the Ebola fight, which was read for him by Vice President, Her Excellency Jessica Alupo, this evening. We have details to it.
I would like to assure the public that we have established a fully fledged response to contain the disease spread. We are very optimistic that the outbreak will come to an end in the coming month. Therefore, to further sustain the gains in control of Ebola that we have made, and to protect the rest of the country from continued exposure, all the directives issued on 15th October 2022, followed by those communicated on November 5th, 2022 by the Honorable Minister of Health, will be extended for another 21 days. Why another 21 days? This is the incubation period for Ebola. The districts of Mubende and Kasanda have only gone 13 and 15 days respectively without a case, and there are 23 people in quarantine in Mubende, while in Kasanda there are 102 contacts under follow-up. This situation is still fragile. Without completing 21 days, as we saw with Mubende, a case can pop up anywhere. It is therefore important that we complete the entire cycle, which will bring us to 17th December. If there is no case, then we open fully. However, if we open now and a case appears, we will have destroyed all the gains made in this war. I therefore appeal for calm and understanding. Our healthcare workers will continue to do all it takes to save lives and bring the epidemic to an end. I call upon the public to cooperate with the healthcare workers and report anybody with signs and symptoms like that of Ebola early enough to improve survival of the patients, but also to protect the rest of the population.
That is Her Excellency, the Vice President Jessica Alupo, in the presidential address this evening. Meanwhile, President Yoweri Museveni has returned home after a state visit to the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, where he spent 3 days at the invitation of his counterpart, President Nguyen Xuan Phuc. The president was received at Entebbe International Airport by the Vice President, Major Jessica Alupo, Minister for Presidency, Millie Babalanda, Head of Public Service and Secretary to Cabinet, Lucy Nacho Mbonye, the Commissioner General of Prisons, Dr. Johnson Byabasaija, the Joint Chief of Staff, Uganda Police, Major General Abel Kandiho, and Commander Air Force, Lieutenant General Charles Okidi. While in Vietnam, General Museveni held bilateral talks with the host president at the Presidential Palace, witnessed the signing of agreements and different memoranda of understandings between the two governments. The president also addressed the Vietnam-Uganda Business Summit and Trade Exhibition at Vietnam National Convention Center, Hanoi, on the theme Unlocking Investment Opportunities. Government has embarked on improving the quality of learning and teaching of science through innovations and good practices in primary schools. This follows the launch of the disbursement of 340 science kits to establish mobile mini laboratories in primary schools across the country. We have details to this.
Early this year, government, through the Ministry of Education and Sports, launched the distribution of 340 science kits to establish mobile mini laboratories in primary schools across the country.
This mini lab is simple to handle and stocked with apparatus, equipment that makes teaching of every topic of science at the primary level not only practical but interesting to learners.
The move was aimed at creating a firm foundation of science teaching in primary schools by changing the approach of science appreciation.
If you are teaching the young one about the heart or the eye, and you bring a model and you say the eye looks like this, not just drawing diagram, that sticks better in his head than teaching him or her in what? In theory.
The initiative would enable learners to have a smooth transition of science from primary to secondary level by getting rid of challenges to new science subjects.
I mean, if you have many now appreciating sciences and mathematics at P7 and they are able to pass it, then we will not have challenges at secondary, even at A level, even in universities.
It is against this background that in Tungamo, Iganga, Soroti and Gulu districts received 20 science kits each.
So we received the kits and we gave them out to the schools during the Teachers' Day celebrations.
The entire district were very appreciative for the Ministry of Education and Sports, more especially to our mama, Janet Museveni, the Minister of Education and Sports, for the initiatives.
According to the teachers, the kits have eased the teaching of science in primary schools more than ever before.
Before the kits, it would become sometimes very difficult for you to explain. For example, if there is an eye, you know, it becomes very ambiguous. You are telling the child the eye and you can't show the whole of it. When you just draw on the diagram or draw on the chart, it looks like it does not come out well.
So this skeleton has made my work very easy now, and the children are enjoying the lesson because they are able to see the real, and they are touching it, they are naming it as they see the bones.
It is evident that these initiatives have enabled learners to acquire the necessary knowledge and skills relevant to personal and national development.
It is now easier for us to just see and we shall draw it. It doesn't even make the teachers to draw it on the blackboard.
Before this thing came, we just see only the front parts, but now I can hold it, I turn it around, I see the behind parts, the in front parts, I see it very, very, very well.
With the help of science kits, a number of schools are hoping to excel in science.
What was there in the science kit, I even saw some of the questions in the past papers that I saw after the exam has come out. So I am very hopeful we are going to score.
However, there is a need for more science kits, claiming that one kit per school is like a single drop in an ocean.
We really want more of the kits. Actually, we would thank you so much if more of the kits were brought today, not even tomorrow. We thank you so much. The kids are really enjoying. When you have kids with practical, it is what they want. Even when you are talking, you are still introducing, you are actually wasting their time.
You see this large class, and everybody has a right and has interest to at least touch these and interact with the skeleton. So it takes long for everybody to participate in touching this thing and learning and naming parts practically. I wish there were more of this in every other group. The work would be done once and for all.
There is also a demand for kits in the schools and districts that missed in the first phase.
The pressure we have been getting from these other schools that never got, it is immense. Remember, even government primary schools being 242. So when you take away the 20 that received, then 222, they remained at large.
According to government, the distribution of kits will be rolled out to the rest of schools in phased manner.
The government plans to procure the main laboratory equipment in phased manner, depending on the available resources starting with districts which have very poor results than others.
The other non-profitable organizations that have backed government in promoting science in primary schools include World Vision, Save the Child, Fields of Hope, and supplied by River Flow International. Joseph Oko, UBC.
The Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF, are holding a Rwandese national who attacked a UPDF officer with a machete and ran away with an AK-47 rifle in Kabweya's sub-county Kikuube district. Teogene Hafasha, who allegedly entered Uganda illegally from Rwanda, attacked Private Wycliffe Musibira of the 13th Battalion, who was guarding Bugoma Central Forest Reserve section that was leased to Hoima Sugar Limited by Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom for sugarcane growing. A Rwandan man who grabbed a gun from a UPDF officer has been arrested after a two-search by security personnel from the 1st Division. The suspect was nabbed while trying to flee the country after grabbing and hiding the gun in Bugoma Forest.
After arresting him, he guided us up to where he had dropped.
Private Musibira is also detained over self-deployment.
Self-deployment is not allowed in UPDF. So since he was assisting the people who are vandalizing the forest, in a manner which led to loss of this guy.
The resident district commissioner Kikuube Amlan Tumusime says that the suspect will answer charges of grabbing a gun from a UPDF officer.
Fortunately, it's not even in Uganda. So he will tell us what was his motive of grabbing a gun from an armed, well-dressed army officer in uniform and on duty.
Amlan says they are even investigating a certain church in Kikuube that has been soliciting money to enable the suspect flee the country.
There is a church here which we are also investigating, which I will not give you the details, but members of this church, we are collecting money from him, for him, and he wanted to escape to Kigali. That's a fact. He wanted to escape to Kigali, but we shall get more details.
4 members of Hafasha's family have also been arrested and are currently being held at Kikuube Central Police Station. This has come after other several attacks on security personnel in the central part of the country where assailants target guns. A businessman, Ben Kavuya, has called for an establishment of land tribunals as an antidote in dealing with the many land cases in the country. Land tribunals were established at both district and sub-county levels to act as first reference for land disputes. They were, however, phased out in 2004 due to inadequate financing. According to Kavuya, these tribunals will lead to speedy delivery of justice in land cases. Kavuya said this after receiving justice in a land case that has dragged for close to 7 years.
This week, Court of Appeal delivered a ruling in a 714 hectares land case where a lawyer had convinced Kabura residents that their land had been encroached upon by a city businessman, Ben Kavuya. The disputed land is located in Kabula-Lantonde district. In the Court of Appeal ruling, the justices held that the declarations and orders of the High Court are set aside and substituted with an order that Mr. Kavuya retains registration and possession of his land to the extent measuring 472.3 hectares. Commenting on the matter, Kavuya decried the pace it took court to deliver justice.
This kind of case, which is a landmark case, is very good, but it scares an investor. If I'm coming to do a commercial agriculture farm, and I find this kind of situation at hand, that a matter started 2015 is resolved 22 after 7 years. So I have to be cautious how to invest in commercial agriculture, which actually hinders the development.
He, however, highlighted that the now abolished land tribunals are the solution to the land-related cases.
Extremely sad that one, our court processes take so long to resolve land matters, which I think the government should think about. I can tell you the land tribunals were more effective, quicker, because they would quickly go to the locus and resolve the issues that pertain land, because these issues are not very serious issues if you have a tribunal, that land tribunal that has technical people.
The businessman also appealed to the Uganda Law Society to rein in on its errant members who have made it a point to eke a living off land cases by taking on the role of petitioners.
Male youth leaders have been called upon to use their positions to watch over their female counterparts and be champions against teenage pregnancies and early marriages. This was during a 3-day engagement between local leaders in West Nile and Naguru Teenage Center, and it was established that the region is gradually taking lead in acts of early marriage and teenage pregnancies.
To action is to all national youth leaders to take on the mantle, especially the males, to protect the girl child.
West Nile region has been identified as one of the areas experiencing the highest rate of teenage pregnancies and marriages. This has led to infections by sex linked to HIV/AIDS and other STIs. This was due to lack of access to most sexual reproductive health services amidst long confinement.
The image currently is painting that the rate of teenage pregnancies in our communities and in our region is very high. Going down to the health centers, the access to service for young people is very low because the service points for young people, they are not separated. The young and the old get services at the same point.
Tabitha Akelo is the project coordinator at Naguru Teenage Center, Arua.
Information is accessible to young people. When you cannot access information, it is hard for someone to be accountable for it. So access to information right from the time they go away from here, they need to take back whatever they have learned. It is part of social accountability.
During a 3-day engagement with different key leaders in West Nile region, Naguru Teenage Health Center, in partnership with United Nations Population Fund, came up with several proposals to try to curb the situation. These included rehabilitation of victims, incorporating them back in their different learning and vocational institutions, and engaging the male counterparts.
Many of these young people, they fear to access health services with the elderly or the older people. I think it's very important for us to reach out to young people through their leaders to advocate for access for services for their fellow young people.
The youthful population in Uganda is believed to present challenges and opportunities at all levels of governance and leadership. Empowering them offers more opportunity in addressing the actual challenges affecting them directly and indirectly.
Empowering the young people, especially the mindset change, it is one thing that is killing the young people of Uganda at large. The young people need mindset change sessions.
Youth and male youth leaders have been tasked to champion the change in promoting sexual reproductive health, rights, and social accountability.
We are able to know our roles and responsibilities as youth leaders.
The engagement held in Arua City brought together representatives from the districts of Nebi, Terego, Ajumani, Arua, Koboko, Maracha, Moyo, Nebi, Pakwach, and Zombo. Susan Naonga reporting for EBC TV.
Tororo District Administration Block is due for demolished to its weak wall due to its weak walls. I beg your pardon. This comes at a time when the structure is due for repair at close to 1.4 billion shillings. Tororo District Engineer Andrew Asaya says that the administration block, which was built in the late 1960s, will be demolished in 7 years' time.
This was a site handover ceremony for the renovation of Tororo District Administration Block, estimated to cost 1.4 billion shillings. The building that was commissioned on 24th May 1969 has been handed over to WMC Company Limited for renovation, expected to be completed by February next year.
Today we have done a site handover of this building to the contractor, and we expect value for money out of the work which is going to be undertaken by the contractor.
The district engineer Andrew Asaya revealed to the district leaders that even after completion of the renovation works, the structure is meant to be abandoned after 7 years due to its weak walls.
The building is
now is not very fit to continue hosting the public officers who are working here. But also they gave us a leeway that within the 7 years this building should not be used. And therefore, in the interim, we are doing minor repairs to help us, to keep us going for the next maybe 7 or so years.
This revelation, however, did not go well with a section of councillors who argued that spending 1.4 billion shillings on the structure that is to be demolished in 7 years is a waste of taxpayers' money, advising that the money instead be redirected towards the construction of a new administration block.
If already the recommendation is to have the building condemned, what good reason shall we give for injecting their 1.4 billion shillings? Unless some people have interest of maybe benefiting out of that money. But otherwise, if you are really a statesman, you would go by the guidance of the technical people.
As council, we are going to sit down and make a decision. Even if it takes cancellation of this contract, we know there will be contractual obligation. But still, I think that the cost we can incur as a district in terminating that contract is far less than the cost we are going to incur than if we implement this contract.
But the district executive says the decision to have the said funds channeled towards the project is due to inadequate resources.
We saw it prudent for us to allocate that small money to do the part renovation, the cracks, the what, so that the people can continue using it as we are appealing and planning and requesting for well-wishers to help us bring out a new block.
Me, I think the wages are said that when people refuse to speak, stones will speak. I think even this house is now showing Tororians that we now need to go for a city. Because if we now get a city status here, instead of struggling to put one white house for this district, which is now ready for a city, there's so many houses will be put to various districts.
With a section of councillors now protesting renovation works, security heads plead with the district leaders to allow the project kick off as government finds more funds towards the construction of a new block.
I've advised the district leadership they should start planning for putting up a new building, such that in the space of 7 years we have monies to put up a new building to habit our civil servants. For me, that is the biggest discussion we need to have at this moment.
The renovation of Tororo administration block was recently passed by the council upon discovery that it had lived beyond its lifespan and developed cracks, thus threatening lives of the users.
President Yoweri Museveni is scheduled to lead a Ugandan delegation to the United Kingdom and the United States of America in December after UK trade envoy to Uganda, Lord Poppet, announced a 99% duty-free UK market access for Ugandan products. The chairman, Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports and Industrial Development, Audrey Karamoja, says that the trip aims at promoting Ugandan exports in key target markets.
When they say that you cannot see in the night by sight an enemy, you improve sight by night vision goggles.
From holding a series of business summits with various groups in the country, it is now time to take the gospel of export promotion outside Uganda. This is what President Yoweri Museveni is about to do in the coming few weeks.
On 12th, he's going to preside over a Commonwealth Business Council session that brings off-takers of fish, of vegetables, financiers who want to invest in companies and value chains of those companies. Some 80 people will spend only 1 hour 30 minutes.
This has been announced by the Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports and Industrial Development. Top on the menu is securing market for value-added agricultural, amongst other products.
Trade for me is war. Therefore, we are at war. When you are at war, you conserve all your energies, all your resources, because the competition has left us. You are still dealing with chemicals, people are signing bilaterals, people are creating incentives for their home companies. We need to wake up and know that when you are at war, you act together.
The press briefing, which was held at Pasaid offices in Naguru, noted the need to improve product quality for easy local and international market access.
So we are trying to address the challenge to make sure that Uganda's coffee gets into the UK and doesn't lose identity into the global stock exchange.
A catalogue of exporting companies which trade representatives are going to use to market your products. And we are being very specific on the information we are asking for to include in these catalogues. And one of those is production capacity.
Fish dealers equally want their plight addressed.
Now that the Chinese government has already given us a go-ahead on a zero tariff for fish and fish-related products, it is very important that this protocol is being signed now. And this signature of this protocol will give us the chance to directly export to China.
The engagement is organized in conjunction with other international institutions. These include Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council in London, Invest Africa in Washington, D.C., and the Africa Global Chamber of Commerce in Chicago. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Local government ministry has issued a stern warning to the leadership of Gulu city over corruption tendencies. The warning follows the arrest of 6 officials in August who swindled over 200 million shillings from the local revenue.
The Minister of State for Local Government, Victoria Rusoke Businge, has issued a warning against corruption and abuse of office among local government leaders. Rusoke was inspecting government projects such as the parish development model, the road fund, and the main market in Gulu city.
We are already making corruption a very risky venture. We are no longer a ministry that is just going to transfer culprits from one station to another. The only thing we want to know from the management of the city, of the district, of the sub-county is to tell us facts of what is going on. Then we shall jump on the culprits and make them refund the money in the first place, but again they won't escape the jaws of the law.
This warning follows the arrest of 6 Gulu city officials for allegedly stealing over 200 million shillings from the local revenue basket.
So corruption has no room in Uganda. We need concerted efforts of everyone. Don't look or see or know anything about a corruption tendency taking place and you decide to keep quiet, because this world is not spoiled by the culprits alone, but is worse by us who know and decide to keep quiet. We own this country. We should be patriotic. No one is going to love Uganda more than us.
The Minister of Local Government is fully committed to steer Ugandans out of poverty by ensuring that government funds benefit the intended citizens.
The battle of the gun ceased. Uganda gained its peace and stability. Now the battle we have embarked on as the nation is war against poverty. So whichever money comes must be supervised to the dot. That's why I'm happy that we are sensitizing the people so that they know that they are going to get parish development money, strict to work on the enterprises that they have chosen.
In order to improve the welfare of market vendors in the city, the minister also pledged to install more transparent iron sheets, construct a kitchen and task the contractor to build a secure access staircase on the eastern side of the market.
Right now it is 3 o'clock, but the people inside the market, they're already in darkness at noon. I'm happy that now your promise that through your office, Gulu main market, city main market will receive a transparent iron sheet to create some light in the city, in the market.
The city mayor Alfred Okwanga has been directed to toughen up on the technocrats who are orchestrating corruption. Sudat Kaye and Joseph Omagol, UBC News.
Teachers in Karamoja sub-region are stuck with girl-child learners who have refused to go back to their families for holidays. This comes after many survived being married off by their parents or relatives, and they fear that if they go back home, they may end up in marriages. But the head of Social Protection Unit in Moroto District says they are sensitizing communities on the issue of early marriages.
Karamoja sub-region experiences child marriages, teenage pregnancies and female genital mutilation, which is fueled by high bride price. This leads high school dropout rates, especially for girls. 13-year-old Esther Akol, a P4 pupil of Lila Primary School in Katikakiro sub-region, escaped from her maternal auntie's home in Musasi village in Moroto district after surviving being married by a man who used to buy alcohol and giving business money to her auntie as dowry to marry Akol.
I'll go to school. Then the auntie told me that after that you marry the soldier so that I catch the card of the soldier. Then I paid for the school. Why don't you ask that
of the girl? And as it stands now, we are the one providing for her everything.
The story is not different from 16-year-old Anyakon Helen, not her real names, who sat her PLE this year. She ran away from their village in Ikokingol when her paternal uncles forced her into marriage to get animals.
She came back when we get less. Then for them they want just cows. But for me, I told them, you leave me alone. No one is paying my school fees. I'm the only one paying my school fees up to now.
These are among the many who are experiencing sleepless nights as most learners prepare for the long holiday.
The girls, they are saying they are not going to go home. By the way, even boys are also there who are forced to go and get women, but it is not at the high percentage of ladies, girls.
Stay with your brother's wife. She burst into tears. And we had to console her. We told her, okay, if you are not ready to go and stay with the end of them, as a school we shall see a way forward of helping you. Girl is not ready to go back and stay with them. I think that is because of what she has ever experienced there.
Another girl, Angela Koryang, ran away from their village after many men wanted to forcibly marry her, but the school management gave her where to sleep within the school premises, together with other girls with similar challenges. A teacher at school, however, wanted to defile her.
But when the teacher came, he knelt on her knees, and then he brought the mouth close to her, his mouth close to her. So she caught his throat since he was kneeling in front of her, and then she pushed him off her. So the teacher started apologizing and saying sorry.
Bring the girl to the shelter where she underwent a medical examination, counseling, and afterwards it took us about 2-3 days. We also got the perpetrator on board.
With the help of the probation officer William Lochoro, Lokutai and Save the Children, the perpetrator was arrested. Moroto District Deputy Resident Commissioner Justin Tuko condemned the act of the teachers.
They are under the hands of the teachers. And now if a teacher misbehaves in that way, then meaning that there is no trust. There is no trust now in school.
Meanwhile, some people say many girls are grabbed on their way to school and taken for marriage. Leaders explain challenges faced while addressing such cases in Karamoja.
Information, the survivors are abused, they connive with the perpetrators, and when they fail to negotiate and accept on particular amount or dowry after like a month, is when they report to us. And it becomes a challenge to also follow these perpetrators, because they've been tipped, so other people go to either Soroti, Hamdat, others cross to maybe Turkana, so it becomes a little challenge.
Parents are cautioned not to marry their girls in this long holiday.
Your child with a person that you are not sure is your close relative. Sometimes even if you are close relative,
taking care of these children when they come back, please don't make these children to go and get married. Take care of them, engage them in work. so that they contribute for their school fees.
Karamoja Region Police spokesperson explains that in the last 2 months, defilement cases have increased in the region.
In the month of September, we registered 26. Can you imagine from 2, we registered up to 26. That is in September. Then in October, we registered 27. Increase in these sexual offenses.
Maureen Yiga compiled this report.
This weekend has been dominated by learners jostling to catch the first means of transport to rush home for their third term holidays. This is as schools across the country close for their third term in line with government guidelines on protecting Ugandans against the Ebola virus infections.
It has been time for action in Wakiso district as children broke out for third-term holidays this weekend. The district has the highest number of schools and therefore learners in the country. The chairperson, Board of Directors of St. Peter and Paul Nursery and Primary School, Bokada Wakiso Elias Kagoma says the early third-term holidays is in accordance to government's directive that all schools close for third-term holidays due to Ebola virus disease outbreak. Kagoma explained that much as they have closed early than usual, all classes had completed their syllabus as required by the Ministry of Education and Sports. Parents are now urged to mind and mentor their children during the long holiday to avoid getting into bad groups that can result into bad behavior such as alcoholism, early pregnancy, among others.
Where they bring them up will determine the future of the country. So, my dear friends, let's take forward our education for a better future.
Indians who got asylum in Canada after expulsion from Uganda by the former president, Idi Amin Dada, have gathered in Toronto, Canada to mark 50 years since their eviction from Uganda. Uganda's ambassador to Canada, Joy Ruth Acheng, assured them that currently Uganda is a peaceful state and they are free to return home.
The 100th anniversary of their entry into Uganda and 50 years since their expulsion by the former president, Idi Amin Dada, in 1972. Many of these deported Indians fled to various countries, among which is Canada. These are among those who joined their counterparts in Toronto to mark the 50th anniversary of their departure from Uganda. At a ceremony, Ugandan ambassador to Canada, Joy Ruth Acheng, thanked them for complying with the former president's 90-day departure order.
And work and achieve government that has been stable for over 30 years under his leadership, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who has kept peace in Uganda, who is a champion in peace in Africa, and who has brought back many Ugandan Asians and many Asians from India to come and do business in Uganda, and they are very successful. Of the properties during the time of expulsion, the president directed that.
Ambassador Acheng, however, assured these Ugandan Indians that currently Uganda is a peaceful state and the Indians can return home. They were also urged not to sow hatred towards their country Uganda, but to spread the good gospel that reflects the beauty of Uganda.
To come and benefit from those services, we are giving national IDs. If you still feel proud to be Ugandan or go back to your citizenship, we are also giving passports to our children who left Uganda sometimes back.
So the new generations in Uganda perhaps may not know the history, but there is a big fondness for us to like Uganda as our birthplace. We are very fond and adhere to Canada, although we have our allegiance in Canada here. Uganda is our country of birth, so we can never forget that.
Refuge and asylum. They've come here, taken advantage of opportunities and prospered, but now is definitely the time for reconciliation, for connecting Canada and Uganda, for building back those ties, building back those opportunities, and promoting that prosperity between the jewel, the pearl of Africa, which is Uganda, and the Canada.
The chairman, National Resistance Movement, Fred Chinene, NRM Chapter Canada, welcomed the establishment of a close relationship between the Indians that were expelled from Uganda and the Ugandans living abroad in Canada.
Welcome you, the Asian community, into our Ugandan community anytime. We have a lot of engagements, in a lot of entertainment, barbecues during summertime and all that, but most especially to invest back home.
A businessman, Festo Kasaja, said the expulsion of Indians opened eyes of Ugandans to start various businesses, and he welcomed the idea of the expelled to return back home. The conference aims at bringing together Ugandans and Indians of Ugandan originally living in Canada. Irene Faith Nantongo, Wycliffe Mudach, UBC News.
Hundreds of people living in Bulenga Trading Center along Michana Road have benefited from a free medical camp courtesy of Marvin Health Focus Initiative and other health partners. The people have been screened of different illnesses, mainly diabetes, hypertension, eye defects and cervical cancer.
Early screening of diseases is good for timely detection of complications and therefore better treatment outcomes. However, due to poor health-seeking behavior, many people go to hospital when diseases are in advanced stages, a scenario that sometimes results in poor treatment outcomes. It is for this reason that Marvin Health Focus Initiative, a private health service provider, collaborated with other health partners to organize a free medical camp for the people of Bulenga Trading Center in Wakiso District. The people have been screened for different illnesses like diabetes, hypertension, eye defects, cervical cancer, and there was also a blood donation drive spearheaded by Mengo Hospital.
So Wakiso district is very highly populated with very big numbers. It is developing, it has a very big population, and that is the one reason we selected Wakiso district, so that we can extend free Medicare to the people of Wakiso district. We had targeted at least a maximum of 1,000 people, but almost by lunchtime, or if we can say by 1, we had already exceeded.
Area leaders commended Marvin Health Focus Initiative for bringing health screening services nearer to their people.
Don't have money really and don't go to hospital. So now today they have gained, because it has been on our area ground, they have managed to come and get free medication, and I think now they are going to be okay. So that's have been a good preparations to bring this one in our area.
Apart from just screening for diseases, people were educated on how to prevent lifestyle diseases like diabetes and hypertension. Adiana Kote, UBC.
We thank you so much for watching. Let's take a short break. It's UBC News Tonight.
MTN presents Tugende Muchika Day at Kampala Serena Hotel on Saturday, 3rd December 2022. Standard tickets go for 100k, gold 300k, and 3 million for platinum. Or pay 90,000 shillings if you pay using MTN mobile money. Remember, this is only applicable to ordinary tickets. Featuring Eddie Away, Chance Nalubega, Sweet Kid, Kawiye Semboga, Akiki Romeo, Betty Pologoma, Ziggy D, Lady Mariam, Tina Tine, Abdumulasi, and featuring Ave Pickup Band. All this at Kampala Serena Hotel. For reservations call 0785-961-910. Dress code Retro Style. Sponsored by Elderly Network Foundation, Coca-Cola, Al Breweries Limited, Kadanke, and MTN.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution, or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone, or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312-206-400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
We are the DPF. We protect your money. Protection Fund of Uganda.
Yeah. Sending money the old way. Wrong number. Sending money with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to access and confirm contact details in real time before you send money. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash hands with soap, it means clean hands for all. This is a message from the National Hand Washing Secretariat.
Did you know that a cashless, secure, and convenient lifestyle is possible with Airtel Money Pay? Pay for your goods and services in the following simple steps. Dial *185*9#. Enter the merchant ID. Enter the amount. Enter payment reference, for example, school items. Please enter PIN to confirm. You will receive a confirmation message for a successful transaction. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Get value for your money by choosing the right paint. With Global Paints, you don't just paint, but paint for generations to come. Make Global Paints a paint of choice and make your building a paradise. We have weather coat emulsion, undercoat emulsion, silk vinyl emulsion, flat emulsion, super gloss, and high gloss. Global Paint, a reliable product.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone, the most affordable smartphone in Uganda. You get to enjoy free 1 GB for 1 whole year. My Airtel 4G smartphone, your best value for money. Visit the nearest Airtel outlet today and get one at only 250,000 Uganda shillings. Airtel, the smartphone network.
UBC News tonight. Thank you so much for watching and welcome back from the break. Members of the National One Health Platform contend that although antimicrobial resistance in humans, plants and animals is generally on the increase, the situation is worse in the livestock sector. This is blamed on the farmers' continued dependence on what is termed as cattle cultural experts and their peers for medical advice of their livestock.
Antimicrobial resistance is a condition where humans, animals or plants develop resistance to antibiotics, antivirals, antifungals or antiparasitic for treatment. Like in humans and plants, Antimicrobial resistance in animals occurs after misuse of medicines, either as a result of administration of treatment without or poor diagnosis, over or under dosage.
You want to treat disease A, but you first treat disease B because you've not done a proper diagnosis.
And sometimes they don't follow the drug withdrawal times. When should you now take the milk from an animal, from a cow you have injected with those antibiotics or the drugs?
During events to mark this year's Antimicrobial Awareness Week in Nakasongola district, it was established that despite technological advancement, farmers are yet to appreciate the importance of laboratory services.
Abantu tumanyi okuba empiso efe abaze tusobola okuzekubira empisa ente ezaffe
Waigirawa.
era balonzi bannaffe.
With peer influence among its farmers here in Nakasongola, the war against antimicrobial resistance in animals might not yield much. Farmers attest to the fact that they do prescription and medication for the animals even without consulting any doctor. Experts look at strengthened veterinary laboratory services as a perfect antimicrobial resistance containment tool.
Actually, farmers don't know that the try and error thing cause them to lose a lot of money. Because by the time now you get the right drug, you have tried so many drugs and they have not worked. Now, when you go direct to a veterinarian, that vet will now do the proper diagnosis and save you from wasting a lot of money on drugs.
Despite being a cattle corridor with about 296,000 livestock, the district has only one laboratory that is exclusively operated by one Kikuube Sharon.
In a day on average, we receive about 5 samples. In a week, that is around 20.
An extension worker can receive over 5 cases, or 5 calls, requiring him or her to be there. And that's quite a large number. And you may find that almost all of them are emergencies. So the number is still, they still have few vets comparatively.
High cost of laboratory services and exorbitant consultancy fees are the other catalysts forcing farmers to shun quality treatment from professionals.
For example, like the tick-borne diseases that I told you about, the treatment costs are meant by farmers. So that means a veterinarian will have to charge a farmer, including the tests in the laboratory, if at all a farmer allows to do it.
Led by the district veterinary officer, Nakasongola district leadership wants the government to consider upgrading their laboratory. Responding to this call, the Assistant Commissioner for Animal Disease Control at the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Dr. Deon Dimu, demonstrated the government's readiness to respond positively.
We are ready to uplift the standard of the current laboratory by providing the necessary equipment and reagents that will not only help the district to undertake the diagnosis of animal diseases, but also to carry out sensitivity tests.
At its current status, the Nakasongola Veterinary Laboratory carries out tests like brucellosis, intestinal and stomach parasites such as trematodes, cystodes, trypanosomiasis and anemia. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
The Vice President, Major Jessica Alupo, has hailed health officers over their tremendous work in promotion of good health services in the country. Alupo was officiating at the 3rd Heroes Health Awards organized by Ministry of Health.
It was joy and happiness as the winners received the Heroes in Health Awards in different categories. The Vice President, Major Jessica Alupo, applauded the winners for their support to building the health sector for better healthcare services.
They said they were somewhere, they are now somewhere, but they are projecting to be somewhere in the near future. And many of them say that there are still challenges that we need to tackle together.
The Minister of Health challenges other health workers to imitate their counterparts who have worked tirelessly to save lives, especially during epidemics.
We still have thousands out there who are not working with commitment. My appeal to you is to be ambassadors of change for the health sector.
The Heroes in Health Awards initiative is aimed at encouraging others to work hard towards improving service delivery.
Actually trying to influence others positively so that they also do very well.
The winners pledge to continue working hard for better health service delivery.
To keep doing the talks and sharing my story so that people who are fighting with mental illness know there is hope and they can keep going. There's always a silver lining and a reason to stay.
With the support of the local community, with the support of the political wing, and managers when we are there on station 24/7, then it means that all the health workers, they are on station and they are ready to give a service to those who deserve it.
Miriam Umcha, UBC News.
The chairperson, Women Council, Kiruhura District, Enid Mwesije, who is also a member of the Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Association, has advised women to start up their own businesses regardless of the money that one has. Mwesije says that most people fear to start business because they know no matter how little money is that can start a business.
Institutions of higher learning in Uganda every year. Most of these graduates, however, first seek for white-collar jobs before accepting reality. A state businesswoman in Mwesije wants youth, mainly girls, to create their own jobs other than being job seekers.
I'm asking and encouraging other women that it's really easy to start. You must know, you must have that vision. You must believe in yourself. That's what inspires you. Once you believe in yourself, once you try once you have.
She also says one should not wait to get a big sum of money to start a business, but you can start with the little you have as long as he or she is determined can prosper.
I also started small first. I started with a small forex bureau, then I started expanding. I started with very small capital, but I'm now grown as a big institution. My forex bureau, this time I have about 4. I operate Lucia, I operate forex bureau. Lucia, I have a forex bureaus and forex mall. I have another that in Kampala. I'm proud of it. And actually this training that I'm receiving from you is really inspiring me.
In an interview with some of the younger entrepreneurs who was also present at the occasion, disclosed some of the experiences acquired from joining You Will.
I realized that association with successful people and role models such as yourselves is very important.
This functioning of You Will celebrating 35 years attracted stakeholders from different government organizations like Uganda Equal Opportunity Commission and PSFU. Tanaba Kenneth compiled this report for UBC.
So, I'm here to announce that the MTN Kampala Marathon is back. And this year, we are running for babies.
MTN presents Tugende Muchika Day at Kampala Serena Hotel on Saturday, 3rd December 2022. Standard tickets go for 100k, gold 300k, and 3 million for platinum. Pay 90,000 shillings if you pay using MTN mobile money. Remember, this is only applicable to ordinary tickets. Featuring Eddie Away, Chance Nalubega, Sweet Kid, Kawiye Semboga, Akiki Romeo, Betty Pologoma, Ziggy D, Lady Mariam, Tina Tine, Abdumulasi, and featuring Ave Makeup Band. All this at Kampala Serena Hotel. For reservations call 0785 961 910. Dress code Retro Style. Sponsored by Elderly Network Foundation, Coca-Cola, Al Breweries Limited, Kadanke, and MTN.
The Uganda Swimming League has entered its 37th match day, with competition amongst the three teams still tight. The latest action at the British School Kampala swimming pool in Muyenga was cutthroat between the three teams, Talons, Colts and Astros.
With just 3 match days to go in the Uganda Swimming League, competition between the teams continues to excite, as evidenced at the latest match day. For starters, this Uganda Swimming League that's now in its second edition is between 3 teams, Talons, Colts and Astros. The competition this year is tight, with Talons ahead, Astros in second position and just 150 points off the leaders, while defending champions Colts are third and 430 points behind the leading team. The latest match day, which was competed for in breaststroke, has drawn reaction from all captains as attention switches to the final lap.
I think it was our lineup, like we didn't pick the right people for the right strokes. I know in breaststroke we struggle a lot there. I can't say we could pick the right people because most of us are not breaststrokers. But yeah, in freestyle and fly, we could have picked a stronger team than we had, but we had some minor injuries. But next week, I hope we can do better.
Today we didn't have that many people because people didn't come today. Yet I had issues. Blessing broke her hand while playing volleyball. Liam is sick. Yolanda and Yeta didn't come. So it was kind of a disadvantage because all of them, there was Alice, she's sick, she has cough and flu. And it was a disadvantage because there was one person almost in every race.
Babile and Nakato, they missed. Even Rhoda and many people missed. Her sisters, they also missed. So, like when they missed, we had to catch up. Like in Reza 3, we had many points to catch up. Then also Reza 2, we had many points to catch up. So it was really hard when other people weren't there.
This Uganda Swimming League is a 2-year-old initiative that is slowly gaining fame because of its commercial aspect that has seen more than 30 million Uganda shillings won by swimmers this year alone. It's the only one in Uganda that offers cash prizes and has produced excellent talent, including Sonia Mwere and Elijah Wamala, with the crowd also growing by the day. John Barnes, Sentamo, UBC News.
With that, we come to the end of all we had for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Michael Jordan Lukoma. With the whole team here, we wish you the best of the night and the weekend. Bye-bye and good night.